Hello! Today I'm playing the Tanker chapter from Metal Gear Solid 2, Substance. This is the PC port that was released way back in the 6th gen, and not the one that's available on GOG now. I'm using a fan patch that brings the game up to modern resolutions, and it also has a really good controller config built in. Just like what I did with MGS4, I'm skipping all the cutscenes and codecs, because this video would go on for 2 hours if I kept them all in. First order of business, go up the tanker's right side and hold up the guard at the top of the stairs. Don't waste a trank round on him. Just open up the door and move on. I'm not doing anything special in this run besides making a direct beeline for Olga and then the basement. I don't advise collecting dog tags on your first run in the tanker, and I'll explain why at the end of this video. You can roll over bodies to prevent Snake from losing any running speed. Around the corner is the first security camera in the map. To sneak past it, I find that it's best to use a D-pad instead of the left stick to press up against the wall and move slightly to the right. Using the stick runs the risk of pushing Snake too far to the right and causing him to move into the camera's cone of vision. I crawled backwards into this tunnel so you wouldn't have to look at a dead end when the camera goes into first person. Stop just before entering the mess hall and trank the guard when he stops moving. Once you enter this room, the game cuts to a mini cutscene to show off the second camera in the map. You want the guard asleep before you walk in. Crawl underneath the table closest to the exit to pick up some ammo for the M9. I waited here before moving forward because I wasn't sure if the guard in the hallway would look in my direction when I walked out. I skipped some cutscenes and a codec establishing Olga, and now it's time for the first boss fight in the game. Olga is a very easy boss designed to help players get acclimated with the new for-the-time aiming system. Pressing up against the edge of cover and then pressing square will cause Snake to pop out and aim his gun like a very basic cover shooter. First thing I like to do in this fight is to shoot out the light and release a tarp. Olga likes to use those to block your view during the fight. If you get to them first, then she's all out of tricks.
We've shared everything, all the bad and all the good. I have no one, nothing except the unit. Nothing else matters to me. Whoever you are, you're not stopping us.
MGS2 introduced stamina meters for bosses. Instead of killing them outright, we now have the option of taking them out non-lethally. It's an extra challenge that you can place on yourself, and I try to stay as non-lethal as possible when I play this game. In third-person view, Snake will do his best to snap to nearby targets, but you can hold down R1 to go into first-person view for more precise aiming. Beating Olga rewards Snake with an empty USP pistol. We need this in order to get to the lower decks of the tanker. Thing is, the USP doesn't have a suppressor like the M9, so you gotta be sure to take out all the guards in the screen before going loud if you don't want any alerts.
Freeze.
The USB is super handy though. Now we can shoot our cameras instead of sneaking past them.
Freeze.
This lounge area is infamous for featuring a technical marvel for its time. The bar houses several liquor bottles we can destroy, but the most impressive thing in this room is this bucket of ice. If you shoot it, the ice will go all over the place, which is impressive on its own. But what makes it crazier is that the ice cubes actually shrink at a rate that simulates ice melting in room temperature. I'm not going to sit here and watch the ice completely melt, but I will place a window in the bottom corner of the screen, showing the ice melt while the rest of the run progresses. By now, we can go straight for the lower decks, but I want to have some fun with Otacon first. These lockers feature a couple of gravure idols. Otacon gave Snake a camera to photograph the Metal Gear that's supposed to be in the tanker, but we can also use it to snap some pics that we want to show to our boy. He'll thank us later.
Good.
Now we can go find Metal Gear. This area has a cute reference to Vulcan Raven from the first game. If you shoot the doll, it'll fire BBs and laugh.
Good. Freeze.
Be careful about hanging off of railings in this room. It's really easy to fall to your death if you misjudge where Snake will land. Once you round this corner, a guard will come through that door and start patrolling this room.
Repair of the entranceway to the engine room on the port side is complete. We'll return to position following patrol at the small room.
Don't trank the guard until he puts away his radio, or else Gorlukovich's men will send patrols to inspect the downed guards.
Good.
The hallway towards the next area is full of explosive traps. You need to use the USP you got from Olga to shoot at the transmitters that control the bombs. There are 3 of them in the hallway, and if you shoot the bombs themselves, it's game over. The transmitter on the top is really high up and out of Snake's view even if he stands on one of the engines. This part of the game teaches a player how to interact with locker doors and how to use first-person aiming to shoot precise targets. It also teaches a player how to tiptoe by pressing L2 and R2 while in first person. Don't move forward until you hear all 3 sets of bombs deactivate.
Verrazano Bridge checkpoint passed. All non-essential personnel report to the holds in 10 minutes' time for the scheduled briefing session with the Commandant.
The next path is pretty simple. Walk forward and trank every guard you see.
Freeze.
There's one that nods on and off in intervals. Don't risk an alert, just trank him. Time for the next boss? You gotta last against a squad of soldiers. Stay crouched, go into first person, and use L2 and R2 to peek around cover or go over it to deal with the guards.
Aim for the lights!
Watch out for any grenades that they might throw in your direction. Eventually, they'll send in 3 shotgunners. If you're fast enough, you can trank them before they get to you. I thought I knocked them out with a stun grenade, but I should have thrown the second one once they started getting up. I ended up using a ration because it chewed through my health. Now that we're clear, we can check in the Marines.
At the moment,
Something I like about the starting area is that the game puts a metal grate right in front of the ladder. This is the game teaching you to walk slowly over these floor tiles, or else the Marines will hear you and go into alert.
all working on deploying their own Metal Gear force to compete with the U.S.'s nuclear strike capability. The world is about to see a swarm of these Metal Gear derivatives.
Make sure you come to a dead stop before crouching as you cross a projector, or else you'll roll in front of it and alert the Marines.
Stand up to a Metal Gear is, of course, another Metal Gear. With Ray, the hundreds, if not
Trank the guards standing away from the rest of the Marines and sneak over the metal grates.
the blind rush to nuclear proliferation will be contained, and it will be the Marine Corps and our Ray that will accomplish this. This weapon will render all other Metal Gears obsolete.
The second hold features 2 projectors that will alternate going on and off, which will cause the Marines to shift their view. Make sure you're prone as soon as you approach the projectors, because you could end up walking forward after the mini cutscene and alerting the guards.
New World Order, and we, the Marine Corps, will play a central role in its military affairs. Ours is not the only military project devoted to Metal Gear development, but it cannot be more different in nature from the Navy's. Theirs is a program that will add fuel to the uncontrolled fire of nuclear proliferation.
Don't move until the guards look away from your direction.
It is a fact that players in favor of such a policy are attempting to derail our own Ray project. But I promise you that they will not succeed. Some say that the strategic... You're all familiar with the Shadow Moses incident during the Sears administration. The current state of nuclear proliferation is a direct result of that event.
Metal Gear.
Now that you're in front of Metal Gear Ray, upload some pics to Otacon with the terminal. The camera has a limited number of slots for pictures to save, so clear up the space by uploading the Otacon before taking pics of Ray.
So, any codec moments from you, Snake? Okay, first up. Oh, this is,
What?
nothing. It's nothing. But this isn't a photo of Metal Gear anyway. Sorry, but you're gonna have to go back and shoot another set. I'll just make a backup of this one. What's next? More of these? Is that all you think about? Hey, what you like is your business. Just get those Metal Gear pictures. I'll just make a backup of this one.
See? I told you he'd love those pics.
So, this explains a lot. Not that there's anything wrong with keeping it to yourself. I mean, you know, it's your life and everything.
Otacon is so woke for 2001.
Your photos now. What's next? This is hilarious! This rules. But we can't use it. Get the shots we need. I'll just make a backup of this one. The last one is... Didn't think Gerlukovich was involved, of all people. We need 4 images. One from the front right, the front, and the front left, and a close-up of the Marines marking on the prototype. Get the prototype on camera.
Of aircraft carriers will be reduced by...
Now that the camera is clear, let's take some more pics.
from the Navy is an undeniable fact. There is a lot of pressure from Navy brass.
Take a pic of Ray from this side of the room to get the first shot. You need to get 3 views of Ray from the front and a picture of the Marines logo on Ray's side. You'll know if your shots are good if you hear a little ding after every shot you take.
The enemy is sometimes...
Move further down the room and trank the guard that keeps nodding off.
Bear that in mind.
Go past him and get a pic of the Marines logo on Ray's side.
Must be tense. Let's do a little stretch.
Now you can focus on getting shots of Ray's left and front angles. Walk over the sleeping guard again and go prone.
Down.
This room likes to troll you if you're not paying attention. The guy leading the presentation will tell the Marines to do some stretching exercises, to look around the room, and that can cause everyone to spot you while you're moving around. It's safer to stay low and crawl under the stage when this happens.
I have a daughter, and it is my greatest wish never to have her or her children experience the horror of...
Once you get to the other side, trank all of the guards who are away from the main group and move back down the room. Take the last 2 shots and upload everything to Otacon.
The National Missile Defense Program was initiated in the end of the 20th century, projected to completion in 2005. However, the NMD trial conducted in the year 2000 was a complete failure. And the success of the 1999 trials is now considered a chance happening. There was no technological solution in sight, and the
Okay, I'm receiving the images. Okay, first up. You're a pretty good photographer. We can definitely use this left shot. What's next? Okay, this works. It's a great front view. What's next? Okay, that's good. The shot from the right is in the bag. The last one is... This is great. The Marines lettering shows up really well. Okay, now we have all the photos. Snake, the speech is about to wind up. Forget the photos and get out of there now.
We, the Marines, will lead the charge into a new world order with Metal Gear Ray. That is all. Dismissed.
And that's the Tanker chapter. I'm not sure how different my ranking would be if I didn't use up that ration during the ambush. Instead of ending this video at the results screen, I want to show you why it's important to beat the tanker first before collecting dog tags. Pretend I loaded up my cleared save and beat Olga again. Instead of going back inside, climb up this mast. Usually, the only things up here are thermal goggles you can use to spot the tripwire traps in the map. But after clearing the tanker chapter once, the second level of the mast has a suppressor for the USP. To attach a suppressor, equip the USP as your active weapon and equip the suppressor as your active item. Now both of Snake's guns are whisper quiet. Instead of having to trank every guard in the screen before going hot, you can now use a USP as you would the M9. We can shoot this camera and get the ammo as guarding, and we can shoot the transmitter in the hallway and disable the bombs. Now that I can go hot, I get a bit more confident with my shots, like taking out this guard at the far end of the hallway, and then shooting at the camera. The other important thing about having a suppressed USP is that some guards won't give up their dog tag so easily, so you have to wing them in the leg to get them to comply. Without the suppressor, you'd have to waste time tranking every guard in the screen, and then waking up the ones that do need to be shot, and then tranking them again. And that's MGS2 for me. I might try to do a dog tag run for the tanker chapter, but no promises. As always, thanks for watching.